Here we see the majestic sturge in their natural habitat, draining blood from a dwarf, a hobgoblin, and some other creatures. It's oops, all necromancers. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I am your DM, Oz the Great and Powerful, and joining me at the table are Bug,
Finny, Satyr Druid. Nay, what's up, every pony?
Horrible, C,
Madam L, half-elf bard, level 2 spiritualist, level 1 feeler of guilt.
and Bree.
Sorrin doll, hobgoblin necromancer, sentient juice pouch.
All right. Before we get into the recap, is there anything that any of us want to plug? I am, of course, plugging Elden Ring, as I always am.
Buy my dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy their sick-ass fucking dice.
Purchase my dice.
Bug is making dice, lots of dice. It's on our Instagram.
They're powerful. They're very, very good. Like, genuinely, they're beautiful, they're cool.
Aw, shucks, aw, shucks.
Also, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/all necromancers, ALLNECROMANCERS.
Wow.
So, let's recap what happened last time in the Finn. Through random happenstance, the party was able to avoid a fearsome shambling mound as it got transmogrified by the fell magics that permeate the swamp. After journeying for a while longer, y'all were set upon by sturges, horrible flappy bloodsuckers, and though numbers were on their side, you prevailed. Resources and stores of blood drained, you traveled a bit deeper before setting up camp for the evening. Finny had a chance encounter with a mysterious Fintity during their watch, and then the entire party almost became frog food. However, Finny was able to rectify matters and gather a bit of much-needed information by reasoning with the frogs. Finally, you all settled back to sleep, completing your long rest, and that's where we are now. You wake up to a relatively quiet Finn. Grun is still sort of sitting middle of the campsite, just taking care of his glaive, sharpening it, oiling it, that kind of thing. Why he's been doing this for 2 hours when it should only take maybe 15 minutes, who knows?
Stimming.
But it looks better than it did before he got it, which it was kind of a beat-up looking glaive. I mean, it was the cheapest one they had kind of thing. They don't really, have a weaponsmith that has fresh new weapons daily or whatever. But other than that, the Finn is quiet. You hear some bug noises a little bit, something sort of chittering off in the distance. Still very dark. For those of you without dark vision, about maybe 20 foot out from your fire, it is hard to see what's going on out there.
I think that's just me.
Yes.
Cool.
But we know to carry torches with us anyway, so...
Yeah, I have a little flame on my fingertip. But I think Finny was curled up in a little pile of leaves with Wallace on top of his head. And he stretches and goes, "Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a good sleep. Yeah. How'd you guys sleep?"
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
Madam L's still asleep.
Madam. Madam. I think Finny is just kind of like poking lightly at Madam L with his hoof, and then Wallace jumps on her.
Madam L wakes up with a jolt and says, "Oh, are the frogs back?"
No, it's morning.
I think, anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All of your adventurer senses are tingling, and it has, in fact, been 8 hours since
I've
you
got
rested.
my spells back, so it must be morning.
Right then, what's for breakfast?
I've got this. And from somewhere, you don't know where, Finny pulls out a wheel of cheese. I I stole this from Tybalt's. This is all I have, though. Sorry.
Let's do a quick cheese check. High or low?
Hi. Check my cheese.
So that cheese definitely has been infested with the maggot cheese. The maggot cheese that people eat that they're not supposed to. It's definitely got that going on. You have not done anything, like you haven't dipped it in wax, you haven't wrapped it with any sort of cheesecloth.
Oh, I assumed it was a hard cheese.
It's a cheddar cheese, a wheel of cheddar cheese specifically.
Yeah, but you have to think of this thing has been rained on. It's been dipped in a swamp.
Finny's just definitely been keeping it in like a sack.
Wallace has just been sleeping on top of it in the bag.
Yeah.
At the mention of the word breakfast, Grun perks up at that, and he takes his glaive, spins it around, and spears one of these sturges and puts it over the fire.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. This plus cheese, that'll be so good.
I'm not really an adventurous eater.
I mean, are you afraid of the maggots? It's just extra protein.
I'll whip us up some tea, Mr. Sorrin.
Understood, and I do have, he kind of sits up because I imagine he went to sleep flat on his back, completely still. I just sit up and reach into my backpack, and I do have some rations if you would prefer not to eat this sturge or the maggot cheese.
Much obliged. So, breakfast scene, everyone.
I know, we did it. Breakfast time.
Every morning we have to have a breakfast scene. Do we know, did we discuss? I don't think we really even discussed that Finnegan could communicate with the frogs.
This is correct. Only Finny knows what they said.
Well, then as we're munching down on our, well, I guess Madame Elle and Sorrin are munching down on meager rations while Finny and
Me and Grun are
Grun-
having a feast.
I will say that after the sturge is gone, at one point, Grun just sort of walks off into the darkness and comes back dragging a full-size deer.
What the fuck?
Okay, you are extremely efficient, Grun.
Woo!
Right, then what is our heading for the day? Do we have any direction, or should we just continue to wander aimlessly?
The frogs told me. Well, they said right. To go right. And boggles. That's all they said.
It's more than what we had before, so it's better than wandering aimlessly, I suppose.
A little, yes.
While this conversation is going on, Grun is full-on butchering and dressing this deer.
Oh my god, he's efficient. He's so efficient.
Someone has to be the capable one.
I'm thinking about Grun on a fucking Cold Steel infomercial now.
Oh, by the way, Sorrin, go ahead and give me an investigation check if you don't mind.
Okay, can do. I rolled an 8 plus 3, 11.
Okay, with an 11, not hard to tell, one of your daggers is missing.
Oh.
And you notice that Grun is not dressing this deer with his glaive, because that'd be silly.
Is it mine?
Yes.
He stole it from you.
It was the one on the back of your belt.
Oh no. How did he get to it without waking me up? I don't think I'll say anything. It's his dagger now. Grun's nice, but I don't know how to communicate. I mean, he obviously needs it more than I do, so.
I assume then we all partake in eating beautiful deer breakfast.
Some wonderful roast venison.
Yeah, I think that would be acceptable.
Yeah. I guess while we're eating, so we have some semblance of a heading. Now, do we want to make some sort of plan? Is the idea attempt to kill this hag? Or just, are we gonna slip in, try to find Petrov's remains, and get out?
I think that the reward for the hag's head would be very, how do I say, important for ensuring that we have a place back at the circus.
What if the hag's just a nice lady?
I don't find that to be particularly likely. remember Petrov was being hounded by boggles, which were likely under the direct control of this hag.
Yeah.
The nice people don't tend to
Kill children.
kill children. Yeah,
You're right.
but my concern, Madam L, is the reward would be useful and might be able to tide over some of Gerononimus's issue with our absence, and also the minor issue of releasing Grun. But do we even want to go back? And what's the point in the money if we can't spend it?
As Grun said before, I cannot imagine just up and leaving and going off into the Nithraxian countryside.
It's quite nice.
She looks around.
Well, parts of it are, at least.
I will say, as soon as Sorrin says that, quote, it's quite nice, that there's a horrible screeching noise heard about 1,000 feet distant that lasts for a solid 3 minutes as this conversation continues. And I would say that some of the fin bubbles up right at this inopportune moment and releases an incredibly foul stench.
Maybe we should go, right, like the frogs told us.
Yes. Can we agree that if it seems like we're in over our heads, we, maybe make a expedited retreat?
I do whatever the heart wants.
I look at you like, whoa. You do what now, Finny?
Whatever the heart wants. And then Finny gets up and starts walking right.
Okay.
Madame L will follow and say to Sorrin, we can plan on making a retreat, but the last time we tried, Grun was not so keen on the idea.
Fair.
I would also say at this point with the venison roasting that Grun has hollowed out the neck and head of this deer and seems to be turning it into a hat.
No! Oh, my lord!
He knows what he likes. Impeccable eye for fashion.
And if any of you make extended eye contact with him, he just sort of gives a sheepish grin and then like raises his hands and forms them into claws and goes,
No, that's too cute! Oh my god!
Grun, bless your heart.
Precious. Finny is still walking right, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna, of course, follow.
Well, are we proceeding away then?
Yes.
I think so.
okie dokie.
I'm gonna go ahead, just so you know, while we're walking, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Mage Armor.
Okay. I need a survival check to make sure that you can keep your heading of, quote, right. Also, how are you proceeding? Are you just stomping through the fin? Are you trying to be stealthy?
I suppose probably quietly, as quietly as possible.
After yesterday, probably being quite careful.
Okay. In that case, I need stealth checks from everyone.
Alrighty.
Okie dokie.
An 11.
I got a 19.
14 for Sorrin.
Okay, Grun got an 18 plus 2, 20.
It's the hat.
It's the hat. He's perfectly camouflaged now. I cannot tell the difference between a dwarf and a deer.
I know. Seamlessly incorporated.
One wields a glaive, the other is a deer. Okay, and did you already roll your survival check?
No.
Okay, go ahead and give me that if you don't mind.
Can I attempt to help Finny?
In what way?
I guess it would make kind of sense that Sorrin would know how to do that, being in the military.
That was kind of what I was thinking. Maybe I'm helping because while Finny is like the druid one, most of his experience is in like kind of an urban environment. So maybe I'm using where the mushrooms are growing on the sides of trees to attempt to determine cardinal directions. Can I do that?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. Because that is a thing you can do, isn't it?
I don't think mushrooms. I think there's supposed to be something with lichen, but I think that's also apocryphal.
Yeah. But it's okay. We can pretend it's real here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's fine.
fantasy.
I will say that you have enough training dealing with the sort of hinterlands of Nithraxil that you can give assistance on this roll. Yes.
Okay, alrighty.
So does that mean I have advantage?
You have advantage.
Okay, good, because I didn't roll very well. Okay, so 18, 19, 20. False 20.
20. That is pretty good. Okay. Can someone do me a favor and roll 1d4 and tell me your result, please?
Let's see. 2.
Okie doke. You realize as you are traveling through this fin that you are having difficulty concentrating.
Uh-oh.
For the next hour, all creatures have disadvantage on intelligence checks and constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on spells.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
That doesn't bother me any.
Yeah, I don't
We're going to fight a spellcaster too, so.
Is anyone else feeling odd?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I just feel like this, though.
Yeah, same. I'm having difficulty determining if this is, what was I saying?
It's probably just the mud.
It feels like when Mom tries to teach me math.
As you guys are journeying along, you do notice bits of the trees are covered in this sort of thick oil. If any of you walk up to it and touch it,
Can I sniff it?
you can sniff it.
What does it smell like?
It smells like some of it, which is like really thin and running down the trees, smells like gasoline.
Oh, gross.
And then the thicker stuff that is just sort of in globules on like tree roots and up on branches and stuff smells sort of like rotten eggs.
Oh, awful. Okay, cool.
Hey, guys, don't smell this.
I'm assuming this is the goop on the trees we were looking for. Can I do an investigation check to see like how it got there? Can I do like a big brain physics check?
You absolutely can. Remember, you have disadvantage on this
That's fine.
because it is an intelligence check.
Not the best time to do a big brain physics check.
BBPC.
Well, the lower was investigation. I got a 10 total with disadvantage.
With a 10, I mean, you'd guess that it came from the boggles.
Like, was it just on the trees from them touching it? Or are they like flinging things at trees? Or are they climbing them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was.
Well, you know what? So here's the thing. Is because you made that Arcana roll so long ago, unfortunately, unlike our listeners, I do not have the advantage of listening back currently and remembering exactly what you got. So if
It was
you-
high enough that I think you told me I knew just about everything about bucket boggles.
Correct. But if you don't remember, then we can do a pure intelligence check to see if you remember.
Oz, that's not fair. My brain doesn't work while we're recording.
I'm not saying if you remember, I'm saying if Sorrin remembers, especially with this sort of field of befuddlement going on.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And I have disadvantage on this, right?
Yes, you do. You are considered proficient for this check
Okay.
because it is an intelligence check for remembering or whatever.
Yeah, so do I just add my intelligence? Okay, so it's plus 5. Okay, so first one was a 15, second one was an 11. So either a 15 total or a 16 total, so the 15.
Yeah, with a 15, you can easily recall that these guys can create dimensional rifts that they can leap through. So most likely that is from them using this to travel around. That's why you don't see a like direct trail. You also know that boggles excrete this sort of oil from their pores and can decide whether it is slippery or sticky and probably oscillate between the two. And that this oil also dries up and disappears an hour later.
Okay, so
So-
they've been through
so
here
they've been
recently.
They have
Here.
been through here recently.
Is it flammable?
The oil itself is not flammable. No.
Okay.
Do you tell us about boggles?
Yeah, I think I
Give
mentioned...
us a quick history lesson on boggles.
Yeah, I school you on boggles.
Okay, sorry, really quick aside. I just Googled an image of boggles, and this is not what I was expecting. I
Oh,
hate
they're
yeah.
cute little
horrible
guys, aren't they?
creatures.
Let me see.
No.
I
I'm
like
afraid
boggles.
of them.
What
I thought
boggle
they were
image do
like,
you have?
I thought they were like, in my mind, for some reason, I was picturing like soot sprites, but not cute. Like gross, like balls of sentient tar. Not full on tar goblins.
They're little tar gremlins. They're cute.
Yeah. Yeah. I let everybody know the details about boggles, and if we're still seeing this, I gesture at the tree, residue, they've passed this way within the last hour. So we're definitely on the right track. So what's the plan? Continue to follow the...
Think go towards the
Go towards the goo.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys continue along your way, and you eventually come to a clearing about, I'd say about 60 foot across. It is kind of this large oblong circle, in the center of which there is a massive tree stump that you can see has a door attached to it. It's like there has been a hut built into this tree stump. There is some smoke coming out of a short chimney, and you also see at least 3, hard to tell, maybe up to 5 of these little tarry guys crawling around on this thing.
Oh, can we hunker before we enter the clearing? Have a little squat?
Oh, I'm keeping your stealth checks, and Madam L, you step down, and there is a crunch,
I wince.
and you look down to see a tiny bird skull has been crushed beneath your boot, and you look back up to see all of these boggles looking in your direction.
Shit.
Before you can do anything else, they immediately all sprint down to the door after crawling around on this tree and start banging on it. And it opens slightly, and they run inside.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cast false life on myself real quick.
Wow.
Don't even worry about it. I'm good over here.
Okie dokie.
This is so bad. I was hoping to get maybe a little bit of reconnaissance done so we could be better prepared.
I don't think we get to do that anymore.
I know. Should we just I
Well-
don't know.
Actually,
Finny looks at Wallace, and Wallace looks at Finny nervously.
As you two are looking at each other, you hear this door creak open, and you see a kindly old grandma wearing a wimple and a simple sort of like green and black tartan dress, and she goes, "Come on out, dearies.
Fuck.
I won't bite."
I told you, it's just a nice lady.
Okay, Finny, stop walking forward and just hold it tight for just a minute. Can I roll a sense motive check, please?
An insight check, you absolutely can.
Oh, insight, is there no sense motive?
There is not sense motive. Insight is your sense motive.
Oh, God. One of these days I'll figure out which fucking tabletop game system I'm actually playing. Oh, I did so bad! 3? I got a 3?
It
Lord.
seems like a kindly old grandma living in a swamp.
Okay.
Also, she had not particularly done anything that would have given you much insight anyway.
I mean, to be fair.
Hi. Hi. Hi, my name's Finny. This is my brother Wallace.
Hello, Finny and Wallace. Why don't you come inside and I'll see what this is all about. My young ones informed me that we had visitors.
Well,
Nah.
I don't think I'm allowed to.
Oh, come, child.
And Finny looks at Madam L and Sorrin.
My word, what a large amount of visitors. Is the deer with you?
Yes.
And you just see the very tip of an antler poking out from behind a tree. You'd guess, based on line of sight, that Grun hasn't really been seen.
Okay.
He's got a 20. What can I say?
I know. I'm just not sure what to do because, like, yeah, she seems fine, but also, like, I have a good reason to be suspicious of her. I think she maybe killed a little kid, so...
Is it the Wimple? The Wimple is very suspicious.
What's she even hiding under there?
Finny just likes old ladies, so Finny has no reservations except for he thinks he'll get in trouble if he goes. So he's just looking at Madame L, mostly Madame L.
Is it so? I mean, Sorrin rolled an insight check and stuff, but given this situation, like, I feel that Madame L should be able to assume that this is the hag.
Oh, you can assume, absolutely.
I don't know, I guess, how much I can assume as a character who hasn't rolled, you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, you can absolutely be suspicious, but for all appearances, this is a kindly old lady living in a Finn.
Mm-hmm.
Who, for whatever reason, has some boggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems really, like... Based on what I know about boggles, they don't really fuck around with anybody else, do they?
You know that they are kind of Fae servants, typically associated with, like, hags and Fomorians and essentially your evil Fae. But also warlocks who form pacts with Archfae, which can, range from your good or at least neutral Archfae to your evil. Could also have them as, like, familiars or servants or whatever.
So so regardless of anything else, she's definitely got some shit going on.
She's a powerful old lady of some kind.
Madame L is going to kind of nudge Finny and speak quietly to the side of her mouth, I suppose, and say, Finnegan, we need to be careful here, but why not have Wallace go around and see if he can take a peek in the side and see what he sees?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wallace, you heard her.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check for Wallace, please.
Okay. And I forget, do I need to use something up for that, or?
This would be a instance of using a use of your wild shape for the Find Familiar spell, essentially.
Okay, I thought so.
So just mark one of your wild shapes off. Okay,
so Finny's eyes start glowing green a little bit as Wallace.
Madame L would like to give a help action in this situation as well.
Okay, how is Madame L helping?
Madame L is going to... How far away are we? Do you say like 30 feet or?
You are on the edge of this clearing. This house is basically dead middle, so yeah, about 30 feet away.
Okay, Madame L is going to walk forward just a little bit and say, Excuse me, Madame, I'm afraid we are a bit lost in these woods. It's terribly easy to get lost. Can you tell me which way back to Grishtal? Do you know? As a distraction.
So she can't see me warg?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that will give Wallace advantage.
I rolled a 7 twice. What the fuck?
It was ordained to be a 7 then.
Sorrin doesn't know how to talk to people, so he's just like, nice gingham.
It's Tartandary.
Oh.
But thank you all the same. I will say that he has a +7 to stealth. Make sure to record that somewhere because I'm not going to fucking remember it. And if I drop it into the current document I have open.
I need to make Wallace a little stat sheet. Okay. So then 7 + 7 is 14 for Wallace.
Yeah,
Sneaky little dude.
You are in Wallace currently, or at least can see through his eyes at your choosing. And this will last for up to an hour, or however long.
Okay. So I basically just have Wallace kind of sneakily go up to the house and maybe go up to any windows there are and try to peek inside a window.
Shimmy into a hole.
Yeah, in response to your question, Madam L, this kindly old grandma goes, "Oh, dearie, you're a very far distance from Grishtal. I would say 100 miles or so? But I believe it's back the way you approached." And she sort of points to over your guys' shoulders.
100 miles. That can't be right. Are you?
No. 100 miles is about correct, as the crow flies, and she chortles a little bit at that.
Menacingly chortles.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of nudge Madam L, because I'm going to step up, so I'm kind of like obscuring Finny too. But I also want to try to keep an eye on him. In case we have somebody approaching from behind. But do you want to... Is there any way you can try to communicate with Petrov?
You really may as well come in. I mean, your small rat friend's already having a look around.
Shit!
And through Wallace's eyes, you see there is, in fact, a window on the left-hand side of the building from the way you're facing. You see one of the boggles slam its face against the glass and just sort of lick at it, and then starts to unlatch the window.
Finny falls backwards, and his eyes stop glowing green, and he goes, "Ah!"
Can I try to catch him?
Sure, give me a dexterity check.
I rolled a 1.
You dive too quick, in fact, and land face first down in the mud, and then Finny lands on top of you.
Well, that works in a way.
Children and their strange little rat friends, am I right? Is she standing in the doorway, or has she come outside?
She is standing in the doorway, basically within... this doorway is between two very large roots. And is just sort of beckoning you in and says, "Please, I don't get visitors very often. What with being in the heart of the Finn and all, if you'd like to come in, perhaps I can get you something to drink or eat. You must be tired from your travels if you've come all the way from Grishtal."
Yeah, sorry guys, I didn't see anything. Wallace only saw Boggle's face, so...
Yeah, nothing we didn't already know.
Let's just go meet this old lady. I think she looks nice.
Okay, Finny?
Yes.
Sometimes people look nice and aren't nice. Sometimes people look like nice old grannies, and then they eat you.
By the way, at this point, you are getting confusion signals from Wallace.
Okay.
Well, whenever you decide to come give old Grilda a visit, just knock on the door. I'll be getting some food ready. And she walks back inside and shuts the door.
Interesting. Has Wallace come back to me?
No, he has not.
Oh. Where is he?
Do you pop into his eyes again?
Yes.
He is currently hurtling through the air from one portal to the next in the hand of a boggle.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
He is unharmed.
But where is he?
Seems to be inside of this hut. Go ahead and give me an investigation check with disadvantage because of this brain fog field.
I already have a 0 on investigation. Oh my god, where is my brother? I got a 2.
He is hurtling so fast that it is really hard to tell what's going on inside this hut.
Okay,
At one point, he leaves the grip of one boggle, flies through the air, lands in the hand of another, and they seem to be just sort of rocketing around the top of this tree.
I warg out of him and I go,
Oh, God, that's...
Go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
oh, okay, there it is. 20, not natural.
Okay, you're good. Your stomach feels a little upset, but you're fine.
Okay. Well, I guess Finny just focuses back on Madam L because there's nothing he can do for Wallace right now.
I would, real quick, like to call to your attention that one of you still has a scroll of locate object, do you not?
Oh shit, yeah, we do. Should we use the scroll and see if his body's here?
that seems to be our only option at the present.
Yes. Okay. I can use it, right?
That is correct, but it is a second level spell, so you're going to need to make a check to be able to do so.
And it's at disadvantage.
Yep, you must make an ability check using your spellcasting ability.
Well, if Madame L uses it, her spellcasting ability is charisma.
It's just a straight roll plus charisma?
Yep.
All right, I can give it a shot. I can't say that I've ever used a scroll before, but first time's a charm,
Yeah, I suppose, yes.
7 plus 3 is 10.
You focused on, there is a certain sort of almost crosshairs in the diagram of this scroll that you focus on, and it starts to glow for a second, and then the scroll is blank.
What happened?
I have no idea.
I think we should go have tea.
I wouldn't...
What do you think, Grun?
And Finny motions to the door, nodding his head, yes.
Grun nods and draws his glaive and starts approaching the door at speed.
Finny like gets in front of him and starts waving his hands. No.
Grun stops and sort of adjusts his deer head and just sort of shrugs.
Finny motions, does the pinky up kind of tea sip motion and goes, oh.
Barring any ideas for luring them out, I'm afraid that Finnegan is probably right.
Finny, at this point, you're sensing panic from Wallace.
Okay.
I think we need to go in because Wallace is giving me some bad vibes. Bad vibes.
All right.
He's getting thrown around in there, guys. Well, the Boggles, I think they think he's like some fun new toy or something. They're throwing him around. They're putting him in portals. It's awful. It's awful.
Oh, okay, let's just 100% everyone on their guard, okay?
Yes, and first things first, and Madame L is going to tap her cane and cast Unearthly Chorus, as she is wont to do, as the melodious chorus of presumably spirits kind of fills the air around her.
Okay.
She'll go ahead and walk up to the door and knock and say, I'm sorry, madame. It's just, this Finn has been very inhospitable to us. I'm afraid that we are paranoid.
As soon as your knuckle wraps on the door once, it swings open and she's standing there. Of course. Come right in. I think I have some food I can scrounge up and perhaps a nice tea.
Do you have my brother? He's in there. He's getting thrown around by your guys. Please, could you tell them to stop?
Of course, dearie. My apologies. You know how the little ones like to play.
Yeah.
And she turns around and... Do any of you speak Sylvan?
I do. Yes. But I don't know that I do. It's,
You
I
hear
guess,
her
an
say-
inherent thing in my brain.
In this sort of susurrating tongue. Cut it out. They're getting suspicious. And turns back. Apologies. They don't speak common.
It's okay. Yeah.
And she welcomes you inside.
Of course, I would love some tea. It's
Actually, we had a very big breakfast, and I don't think we really need tea or food or anything. We shouldn't eat too much or drink too much because it'll make us too full. And we won't be able to go very far on our journey if we're full.
Oh, nonsense, child. A little tea and perhaps a bit of cake never hurt anyone. And she sort of winks at you, Sorrin.
Okay.
yeah, I can't linger out here any longer.
Yeah.
As you come in, you notice that there's just sort of gobs of that oil all about the house and sort of like sticky handprints and footprints, and some of it's running down the walls. It is still pretty dark in here. There is a fire in the center with like a sort of flue over it kind of deal, like a ventilation hood kind of thing. But, you know, fantasy and 19th century and whatever.
I've still got my detect magic up, and I'm peeping everything.
Sorrin, you see with your detect magic going, eyes a-glowing, that this cauldron is glowing very brightly. It is illusion magic on this cauldron.
On the cauldron?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
As far as the rest of the hut goes, other than this oil, there is a window on the left-hand side of the room, like a little porthole sort of window that is presumably in which Wallace was pulled through. There is the same on the right, and then there is a door at the back of this kind of one-room sort of building. Other than that, there are various sort of bones and charms strung up. There are some drying herbs strung up in the corner. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a small sort of herbalist's hut kind of deal.
Does she glow with magic?
Yes, she does. Also with illusion magic.
Okay.
Oh.
Huh.
Is she directing us to sit down?
Yes, there are some chairs sort of around this cauldron, because, I mean, it's also where the fire is and whatnot. And she says, "Now, don't mind the smell, I'm just making some of my special potion." And she gives you a wink and a little laugh. "Could I interest you on some tea?
Nope.
I swear I have some sort of fruitcake around here.
Oh,
No nuts
thank
involved.
you. Oh, no, thank you.
Are you certain? How about the big fella? The deer is with you, I see."
Yes, our friend here has taken a liking to the Finn, trying to blend in, of course. I will take some tea. Now, these little children of yours, could you tell me a bit about them? They are just lovely. And Madame L is going to try to beguile one of these creatures with the unearthly chorus that she cast.
Okie doke. Do they need to speak the language that you do?
I don't believe so. Let me check.
Or do they need to understand you, I should say? It's a natural
no, because
chorus.
it doesn't specify that it's a chorus. Like, it could be music of any kind. I guess chorus in itself is a chorus, but there's no specification about that. It just says you may, as a bonus action on each of your turns, you may beguile one creature that you choose that can hear the music. What do I need to do? The creature must make a charisma saving throw.
Okie dokie. Well, first of all, I will say there's one that is sort of lankier than the others. It's mostly arm. We'll say that's the one you're specifying. There's one with very long arms, one that is quite portly, and then another that is mostly head.
Oh, God.
Okay. The long arm one got a 2, has a -2.
Hot damn.
And so it stops and looks at you and just sort of gibbons its way over to you. That's a verb, right? Gibbons?
Yeah.
Y'all know what I mean when I say gibbons, right? You know
Yes.
how gibbons walk with their
like the
arms up
monkey.
and hands sort of... Yeah. And sits and stares up at you and starts drooling.
What a lovely, sweet child.
Yes, dearie, do you happen to know where that music is coming from? It's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Why, if it were my music, I would surely turn it off to not disturb any guests. Out here in this quiet Finn, why can't we just enjoy nature?
What a sentiment. I must agree with you, but there's just something about it. It's been following us around all day. Is this common in this fen?
Go ahead and give me a deception check.
Well, that is a 3 plus 5. No, that's an 8.
She goes, indeed, there are many strange things out in this Finn.
I want to investigate this cauldron, but without being super suspicious about it. How can I do that?
Okay, so to figure out what's going on with this illusion, you would have to interact with it.
What would I have that's small? Can I try to pop one of the buttons off of my vest and toss it in?
Sure.
Okay, I do that. Sleight of hand?
Yep.
Christ.
Oh no!
Oh, fuck.
I got a 6.
Do I see this happening?
Probably.
Everyone does because your passive perception is at least a 10.
Okay.
Oh, Sorrin, a button fell off.
Sorrin, I will say that your button that you throw at it passes partially through this illusion and hits something with a dink and then falls into the fire. Oh, dearie, perhaps you don't need any of the cake if your buttons are popping off. My apologies. Where are my manners? I could mend that for you if you'd like.
No, I'm fine.
Meanwhile, tea is ready. Madam, I know you would like some. Child, would you perhaps care to partake of this tea?
Oh, no. No,
It
thank
is
you.
delicious tea.
I think I won't. Madam, are you sure you want tea?
Of course, Finnegan.
Of course.
Grun takes a cup as well.
Oh, Grun, you never drink tea.
And Master, would you like yours with... Well, I don't have any cream, but I'm sure I've got a bit of sugar around here somewhere. If you would like.
I have a stomach problem.
Yeah.
Where might I,
He gets real nervous around new people, and sometimes that means, you know.
if you'll,
Do you have an outhouse?
outside.
Possibly an out shack?
I don't... Where are you from, child? I don't know that I've ever heard the term out shack.
Oh, from here, there, everywhere.
Regardless, I have a chamber pot and
Oh, that won't be an.
there is the Finn. If you would like to excuse yourself outside, I mean, I can of course dump it after you've left.
Yeah, it would be rude.
Yeah, it's really bad. It gets really bad, so I don't think you want him using your chamber pot, really.
No, it's a real nightmare.
Yeah, I can attest to it, so...
If your nerves are on edge, I'm sure I have something around here. Perhaps some sort of lavender I could mix into your tea to put you at ease.
No, I'm allergic to. I leave.
You go back out the front door.
Yeah.
So, as soon as you open the door, you don't see the clearing surrounding the hut. Mm-hmm. Instead, you see at, a quick glance, at least 3 hunched figures around a roaring amethyst fire about 150 feet away, and hear a deep chant that fills you with dread. On the fringes of this arcane fire, you see alien flora writhing with malevolence. As you stare, you notice 3 pairs of beady eyes staring back, and then the nearest figure turns and starts running directly towards the open portal.
I shut the door.
The door is shut.
Finny looks at Sorrin.
I don't have to pee anymore.
Do me a favor, dearie. Open the door once more, won't you?
No.
I swear I saw something out there.
There was nothing. I was looking the whole time. I didn't see anything.
How long do I have to wait to beguile another boggle? Can I do that yet?
Oh, you can certainly do this.
Okay, Madam L sees things are going downhill.
Dear, you haven't touched your tea. Why not have a bit? It's quite delectable. And she takes a sip of her own tea. And Grun does as well.
Oh, no, Grun.
Madam L, I mean, she's just been acting the whole time, trying to make this
only
work.
one.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
In this moment, I would like to beguile one more boggle.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
The one that's all head.
Okay. That is a 10 total, so no.
Okay.
It is beguiled.
Is this other boggle like kind of looking up and doing the same thing that the other one is doing?
The big noggin one, yeah, it just sort of, it generally gets around by curling its body up and just sort of rolling head over body.
Yeah, Madam L will say, "Oh, this is just the sweetest thing. Oh, honey, do you want a little bit of tea?" And she will try to get the boggle to drink the tea.
It takes the tea as offered. You sneaky son of a bitch. It takes a sip of the tea, and you notice immediately it freezes up. its body, it just stops moving. It is looking directly at you, and tea is now pouring down in rivulets from the corners of its mouth.
Does Grun seem okay?
Grun is fine. He has almost finished his cup.
My goodness, something seems to have happened to your sweet child.
Yes, I really do think it's the unearthly sort of music. Are you sure that it is not your doing? My children are typically never this still. And the portly one is still sort of bouncing up and down and popping in and out of portals and things. It goes from crawling around on the ceiling to suddenly you notice it has this sort of oily sheen to it, and it sort of rockets down the wall, and like it is in some sort of half pipe, is rocketing around the room and passing through these tiny portals and popping up around the room.
I think that, Sorrin is leaning his head against the door, and he has one hand on the door, and his forehead's on the door, and he's got one hand on the handle again.
Finny's just kind of standing in between all of this, just looking back and forth.
I think Madame L and this old woman are just having a
test of wills.
A test of wills, yes.
You're trying to out-nice each other, yes.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And the
I'm
rest of
enjoying
us
it.
forgot how to behave like people. Can I open the door again? Just like a tiny little sliver?
Yeah, you peek through and you see the clearing.
I do have to use the bathroom. Actually, pardon me.
Okay.
I open the door and go out.
No, I don't think you do. And there is and she disappears.
She said, somehow I understood her. I don't know how I did, but she said that we were getting suspicious. So I think she's not nice.
Very astute, Finnegan. Welcome to the end of the episode, everyone.
Welcome!
We hope you have enjoyed our swamp tromping adventure thus far.
Don't forget to check out our social media if you liked what you heard.
Yes, our Instagram is, how do you say, popping off
Popping
lately.
off. And if you really like us, you could subscribe to our Patreon.
Yes, at the end of this chapter, we are going to be releasing our first Patreon exclusive Goblin episode.
Wow.
In which we play the Rice's system, which is a little more loose and wild than D&D.
It gets real wacky.
Coming up, we're going to have some information on an event we're doing in Central Illinois, so keep an eye out for that. But until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.